Minions have spawned. They stir in the dark below. A radiant lord.
YOLO!
To retake the throne of God.
डोजलाई साइडमा राखेर खेल न तिमी खेल्छ क्या गेम हैन गौ
Already won.
अनि बिर्स्यो कि फरक तरिकाले
If you've got a problem,
ए
make it two.
ल यार पिङ त के हो मेरो रिस्टार्ट गर्नुपर्ने यार राउटर हरेकचोटि लिग खेल्न लाग्यो रिस्टार्ट गर्नुपर्छ
First blood. A sad enemy has been slain.
तिनीहरूले झुकेर त्यो बफ खास है रेड बफ सोल उसमा छ कि छैन कलमा ए
We feel the pain of all kills. It sustains us. Allies has been slain.
Light to light.
यता आउन कोही आहा लाएन यार
You have been slain.
In death, we fight the same fight.
Of course, the faithful shall ever be spared. Wouldst thou condemn the world? As would I. Another errant soul. An enemy has
अँ यार
I'll hunt a black
छोड छोड त्यसलाई पनि मार्दिउँ त सबै त
Your
ल
life
ल ल
is not.
खतरा आइगयो
not the end for a true believer. The old magic cannot be bound.
ल यहाँ के भएछ यार
Charge here.
What the fuck यहाँ गेममा एकदम डेन्जर घाइते भएछ नि त एकजना हेत्तेरिका यार What the fuck
And the Finnish players
What the fuck
affected by this as well.
डेनमार्क हैन मतलब फेटल What the fuck
And they often talk about it, the Danish players
Fatal,
coming
literally
home to
fatal.
be with the fans, and they haven't had that experience in such a long time. It's usually one big party. That's been the tradition going back years. And the teammates are not just obscure figures who play for other clubs around Europe. They are truly their friends. It's part of the Danish ethos.
के भइरहेछ यार What म त लास्ट इन्स्टल भएँ यार
Well,
केटा हो?
the concern goes on. It's not anyone's idea of how things would get underway on this opening Saturday in Copenhagen at the Euros.
अँ त्यो रोइरहेछन् के सब डेनमार्क भर्सेस फिनल्यान्ड
And for the last few minutes, well, we've been just about able to hear a pin drop.
अँ मलाई नि एक्ज्याक्टली
I actually don't see how we finish this game.
गेममा थिएपछि है
Well, Kasper Hjulman
ल यार
being kept fully informed as to what the protocols are. Almost 6 minutes beyond the 45 minutes. And if you have just joined us, I should explain what is going on. Christian Eriksen is the player who you can't see, who is down, the star man for Denmark.
ल
He is on the ground, clearly in some distress. That's all we can really say. The Danish players acting as a shield, parked around Christian Eriksen. And understandably, Kasper Hjulman, the coach of Denmark, is going to want to know a bit more.
Well, let's hope the marvellous medical personnel that we see throughout
Yeah.
Europe and indeed the world
खतरे प्लेयर सुभार रहेछ नि त फेरि यार
can do their job
Eriksen.
effectively and efficiently, as I said quite a few minutes ago. And
बेस्ट प्लेयर नै हो क्या डेनमार्कको
all our thoughts and prayers are with Christian Eriksen and indeed
एकदम ठुलो डिस्ट्रेसमा
his
छ
family right now.
Yeah, here. And I'm sure that is a sentiment that every fan around the world
Oh my
watching
God, man. What?
will wish to express.
त्यसलाई त्यो कमेन्टेटरलाई पनि राम्रोसँग थाहा छैन हैन एकदम ठुलो डिस्ट्रेसमा छ एकदम सिरियस कन्डिसन नै छ हैन
Well, they say silence is deafening. Never more true.
What the hell यार
Than here in Copenhagen.
फेरि डेनमार्कमै भइरहेछ के गेम पनि
Well, he marched all the way over. Kasper Hjulman
कस्तो कस्तो लाग्यो मलाई
marching
खेल्न
back
मन
to
लाग्यो।
his normal position.
Well, it's a terrible scene that we all hope has a happy ending.
I think we all have our fingers and our toes crossed. It's a ripple of applause just then.
I hope it's a good sign.
मिसिङ है मिसिङ
Well, UEFA, I can tell you, has just announced that this match has been suspended due to the medical emergency that we've all been taking in. That is hot off the press.
कस्तो रहेछ यार बोला
Well, Efan, again, it's our job to find words, but it's difficult to find them at the moment.
Absolutely, I can understand the hesitancy of the officials and of course UEFA to act immediately. They always hope for a swift resolution that Christian Eriksen would be dealt with officially and very, very privately, of course, as quickly as possible. That became apparent to us, I think, within a couple of minutes that that wasn't going to be the case. And I said very difficult for Anthony Taylor, extremely difficult for Anthony Taylor in a situation to try and remain calm and in control of not only your emotions but also respecting the law and aware of the surroundings. But the pictures never look good, do they, from the opening seconds. I think this a sensible course has been taken by UEFA as quickly as they thought was possible.
Well, it's a taxing situation for everyone, including the referee.
Go. This राम्रो news here.
Has to go by the UEFA protocols.
I think this is fatal game,
See all the substitutes looking on from afar. There is Kasper Schmeichel.
Sorry यार म धेरै परोछु यार
And understandably, something like this, a moment like this, should be private.
Should be, unfortunately. It's not, isn't it? It's been played out in front of the world, which is, of course, is extremely difficult for the family of Christian Eriksen right now, you know, to see it, to watch, to have to absorb. Unfortunately, as I said, you know, the prayers are with him, first of all, as a footballer, but most importantly, or just as importantly, for his family. And let's hope, as he leaves the field right now, that he's in very good hands, the best available you would imagine in this fantastic city, and that he recovers and gets well soon. And right now, we have to almost forget completely about football. As I said, just worry about the care of a young man who's found himself in a terrible situation on a football field of all places.
Very well said, Evan. Our hearts go out to Christian Eriksen. But he has the support of a nation, and I'm sure the support of the football world. But it does indeed put everything into perspective. We go up and down and extol the virtues of this game of football, and it is a wonderful game that we all relish. But at the moment, we're not really thinking about what happens between the white lines. We're focusing more on the health of a young man, Christian Eriksen. Our coverage will continue in a moment.
Ideas exist inside you, electrify you. They grow from our imagination, but they can't be held back. They want to be set free, to make the world more responsible and even more incredible. Ideas start the future, just like that.
That's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, you're shot down in May.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. Switch now and get 2 unlimited lines and 2 free smartphones. And now get net.
होइन आहा त्यो लागेको भए चाहिँ मजा आउँथ्यो स्लो गर डब्लु हो
The gods awaken.
यो टावर खानु पर्ला यार
Thy day has
गो मिड है
swarms beneath our feet. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your turret has been destroyed. Your team has destroyed a turret. Fear is reverence. Reverence is power.
एग्रेसिभ गो मसँग आउँछ है अब म आएँ तर भाग्छ त्यसको एउटा स्टन मेन है लायो भने चाहिँ जिजी नै हो ओ गौ भाग मेरो यी सक्यो ए ओके हेर न स्टन नलाग्यो मेरो के अरे कति 100 इयर्सको स्टन बर्ड गयो यार
Fate is the tool of monsters and fools. Our eyes are open. To retake the thrones of gods. The old magic cannot be bound.
An ally has been slain. Shut down.
I dance on you.
फेरि स्टन ओहो ओ माई गॉड आई रियली तेरेगा
It hurts. I know.
प्याउँदैन होला गयो हेर न मेरो क्यु के म ओ ओ
An ally has been slain.
मेरो अटो ह्यात तेरे ढिलो भयो मैले देखिनँ यार छ्या कस्तो दुःख लाग्यो यार मलाई लाग्यो यार तर आयो हुन्छ लाग्यो ए ब्लू लिदिम कि गोल्ड लिन्छ ए ए ल ल अब मैले
A blanket
हेल्प
of
गर्छु तिमीलाई
darkness follows me.
मान्नै पर्छ गो मान्नै पर्छ ल यार मुन्डोलाई ओ खतरा
As would I.
ए तर सब माथि आइरहेछ है बाइ द वे ए आउँछ आउँछ यता यता यताबाट छोड 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 ओ माई गॉड
Your team has destroyed a turret.
तर चान्स छैन यार मेरो
Have been slain.
Blessings to you, my sovereign. Darkness, tears, and sadness.
म यो गर्छु गो हेल्प ओ माई गॉड हेर नि त पुस गर्दिउँ पुस गर्दिउँ पुस गर्दिउँ पुस गर्दिउँ म यी गर्छु ओके ओके
I'll be sure to put in a good word for you upstairs.
The old magic cannot be bound.
ए सक्दैन म सक्छ ओके स्ल्यास हान स्ल्यास हान ड्रागन आयो ड्रागन आयो ड्रागन आयो ड्रागन आयो हाम्रो यहाँ कन्ट्रोल चाहिँ छ यार ओ ड्यामेज भाग भाग अब हेर न यार तेरिका यार आइरेल यार
Shut down.
आइरेलबाट भाग्यो हुन्छ हेर नि यो ए के भयो ए जी ए खतरा जोड्दैछु
Death is not the end for a true believer. Our Lord comes in the shape of a horned owl. I know well its voice.
ए धेरै वाइड नभए हुन्छ ओ खतरा है 2 year system ओ खतरा है मेरो ई छैन यार गो ड्यामेज छैन गो एस मर्यो
Torn from our throne.
Nice
by
one.
jealous, frightened hands.
Oh my god, go. Flash गरे त्यसले. Oh my god, go. Tudini.
The gods whisper of betrayal by those who devoured the sun.
थाहा छैन नहुने गो. Oh my god. गौले गुलमोहर पढेन जस्तो छ बच्चामा हो कि कुन हो कुनमा किसमा थियो
We will curse this new world to rot.
प्रेस्टिजको एक्जाम्पल दिनुपर्ने गौले बुझ्थेँ प्रेस्टिजको प्रेस्टिज चाहिँ हेरेँ होला गौले
They smile
ओ
at
ओ आउँदैछ त
black with sorrow.
मान्छे आइरेलियादेखि जेन्युनली डराएर भागी हुन्छ नि त गो ए गो ओ माई गड ढिलो भयो यार सरी मैले इभन ठ्याक्क टाइममा लाएँ Oh my god, यो खाए हुन्थ्यो ए मार्दियो हो बल्ल मेरो एउटा खतरा आइटम बन्यो यार फेर्छ हाम्रो सोल अनि एस पनि What?
Of course, the faithful shall ever.
मिनियनले कुट्यो
The old magic will reshape us, bend us into new and beautiful forms.
सोललाई ओ म आउँदैछु यार मरे जी
This land is so grievously afflicted. To retake the throne.
गौलाई घेर्छ जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई अब चाहिँ
Your team has destroyed a turret.
लौ हँसायो उताको मुन्डोभन्दा बढी ड्यामेज गरेछु मैले मलाई चाहिँ थाहा छैन यार त्यो आज आज कसको आज आई मिन आज कसको पालो हो डोज ए त्यहाँ मतलब मान्छेहरू त खासै जाँदैन होला है सब अनलाइनै होला कहाँ भइरहेछ ए ए ओके एक्सक्लुजिभ वाला टाइपको ए ए ए उम् 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 ए कसको देखाएको थिएँ मैले खेल्दाखेरि बासमती आरवाइजेटी भनेर राखेको के भन्छ राख्न त मिल्दैन होला चेक गर न एकचोटि एक्ज्याक्टली त्यसले चेन्ज पनि गरिसक्यो हुनसक्छ ए है कस्तो नसुने नि के डज अनि यो बियोन्ड गुड एन्ड इभिल भनेर चाहिँ कस्तो छ नि एन्ड ए ए वाह अनि वान चाहिँ कहिलेको धेरै पुरानो गेम हो वान चाहिँ गोली खेलेको छ यो डजले त ढुक्कै खेल्यो होला गोली खेलेको छ यो कस्तो खालकोमा आई मिन थर्ड पर्सन होइन सो नहुने हो स्टार्ट गरिदिउँ न
Yeah, as you say, we are hoping to bring news, and we are hoping that it is the positive news that we all wish for. Mark, from Anthony Taylor, the referee's point of view, we saw that the players were extremely upset. This went on for a long time on the pitch. There was an area that was sort of cordoned off in order for Christian Eriksen to receive treatment. Difficult for him to make the right call and for him to act quickly in that situation.
Euro जस्तै गरेछ हल्का
I think the players informed the referee that there was a big problem. I think players knew straight away that there was a big issue, and Anthony Taylor did the right thing by getting the players away. And the thing is, Anthony wouldn't have made the final decision. This would have been an emergency meeting in Neon with UEFA. This would have been passed down to the delegate, and then the delegate makes the final call to suspend play. And it's the only decision that can be made, because you look at the players, you look at the distress. How can players now want to play football? So therefore, you know, it's the right decision to suspend a player.
Yeah, and with the Belgium-Russia match to come, everybody's mind very far from football at the moment,
Absolutely.
Taylor.
You know, immediately, and Macca knows this better than anyone with my history with head injuries and how I've tried to change the sport. So naturally, with the way the first half went, and there were multiple collisions in the first half, even the player's reaction tells you a lot of where it was because nobody from Finland was even around it. So I went back and watched the 90 seconds before he collapsed. There's no contact whatsoever. So reaching out to a FIFA medical committee member, George Kiempis, who is the chief medical officer of United States Soccer Federation, and you look at it from a doctor's perspective two ways. Was it contact or was it non-contact? This was non-contact. And so that means this is his heart. And so the scary thing here for all of us that have been on that field, but quite frankly, anyone in life, is that now what do you do? What do you do in your reaction? And it took them 1 minute and 48 to 49 seconds after he collapses to then perform the CPR when you go back and watch. And that's the scary thing. That's the real scary thing, I think, for all of us, is because the longer it took for them to recognize that he was unresponsive, that it wasn't a head injury, that's where this thing gets scary, and that's where this thing is way more than football, soccer, any kind of sport. This is about life, and you just hope that the right decision was made in the perfect amount of time. But that was one of the more scarier things I've ever seen.
As you said, it is the medical officer's opinion, and we don't know
absolutely
yet what happened to Christian Eriksen. But if more details do come through, then we will, of course, keep you informed, and we are hoping for better news on him. We saw the effect on the players, those around him on the field. It's unimaginable what they would have been going through as well.
Absolutely, and you know, Mark's right. You know via your teammates what happens. You know them inside out. You've played enough football with them. You've trained with them. You know an injury and whether it's serious or not, don't you? And the reaction on their faces indicated to all of us, because we thought it was just, you know, an injury in a football match when you're watching. But their reaction and the fact that they were trying to turn away from the situation, they knew it was serious. And you know, you can't think what is going through their minds, because you know, they're all very, very close to them. You see how we've taken it, and I don't think any of us, I don't know whether Christian knows him personally, and we're all devastated. So the fact that you've got a group of lads who've been together for the last couple of weeks, you know, almost a tribal atmosphere, wanting to do well to represent your country and win games for your country in front of, you know, nearly up to a full house in Copenhagen. I mean, it was just,
see, the hardest thing
awful.
too, Macca, is that you're in this mindset when you're playing. It's almost as if you're invincible. And so this gives you a rude awakening that you're human. You're not invincible, because when the whistle blows, Mark, even you know this, right? The whistle blows and you're immediately saying, you could run through a wall because the adrenaline's running through your body. And then all of a sudden, in a split second, we're all reminded. It's as humbling of a feeling, and we're 3,000 miles away. I can't imagine. Yeah. I can't imagine seeing that.
I mean, he's had a really good year. They've won the league. Inter Milan have won the league, first time in a long time, as we know. And to go out and represent your country in a tournament like this, in your home stadium, you know, in Copenhagen. And as I said, it just brings everything back down to life. Everything we've gone through, everything we've been dealing with of late, to see something like that.
The other question I wanted to ask you is that at this stage of the tournament, particularly, the players in camps elsewhere across Europe, and they are spread out across Europe, will be watching this game. And at the moment, the game between Belgium and Russia is scheduled to go ahead. The 3 games tomorrow are scheduled to go ahead. Without knowing what the outcome is with Christian Eriksen, the players have been watching that in their groups.
He'll have teammates playing for, whether he's in the Belgian side tonight or the Russian side, but he'll have teammates. There was plenty yesterday who played for Inter Milan. There'll be more today, there'll be more tomorrow. He'll have close friends wanting to be focused on playing in their particular game, wanting to know what's happening. But you know, we can't go ahead at the moment with so much, you know, with so many question marks.
But Mac, remember was it 2014 World Cup final, and it was Christoph Kramer had the head injury.
Yeah.
And remember, and you were in the building. You were commentating on the game, and I remember all of us sitting in studio watching that, and that was It's just when you go back and because I immediately natural my instincts, and everyone knows this watching this, is he got hit in the head or whatever it is. And so I went back and watched 90 seconds beforehand. There's not a single player around him, Kelly and Mark. Not a single player. He's just running Solomon through, receives it, and then and even some of the players didn't even see it.
Yeah.
Because they're further, they're 75, 80 yards across the field, looking across saying, well, we're good. Because it was a combative game. There were collisions within the game where your natural reaction is, oh, there was a collision, it'll be fine. I don't know.
Yeah, amidst all the emotion and the concern for Christian Eriksen, there are practical decisions to be made. Just remind us of what the protocol will be for that, Mark, because you know how it would affect the referee in game.
Certainly is. I don't think there will be any protocol because this has never happened in a major tournament before. Yes, like Maka said, it happened in a Premier League game with Fabrice Muamba.
Yep.
And the match was immediately suspended. This is a tournament, so we've still got further matches to be played tonight and tomorrow. Like Maka said, there's players that he's very close to, could be affected. They're going to have to make a big decision, UEFA, to see what they will do going forward, because this is just sickening. It's devastating to see. It doesn't matter how many medical tests he has. It's, when he signed for Inter Milan, he would have went through various heart checks. Even as a referee, we went through our heart checks. But this is just
and it's such a good point, Mark, because it's so, in this time, are we really going to go through the second guessing and going through everything of a player at this level? At that high level. Of course you went through the test and went through that.
As you said, there are so many unknowns in this situation. What we do know is that Christian Eriksen collapsed about 43 minutes into the match between Denmark and Finland, received CPR, and the match has been suspended due to that medical emergency. If we hear any news at all, we will, of course, let you know. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Switch to Farmers and you could save an average of $467 on your auto insurance just by phoning it into Farmers.
Just by phoning it in?
Just phone it in.
Yeah, you just phone it in. It's great.
I'm phoning it in and save $444 for switching my homeowner's insurance, too.
I don't know what you're waiting for. Phone it in already.
Switch and save just by calling Farmers today. Go ahead, phone it in.
Phone it in, why don't you?
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
That's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April. You're shot down in May. I know I'm gonna...
The Lexus ES. Every curve, every innovation, every feeling. A product of mastery.
Get 0.9% APR financing on the 2021 ES350.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
This is the sound of change. The sound of 1,000 sighs of relief. And the sound of a company watching out for you. This is the sound of low cash mode from PNC Bank, giving you multiple options and at least 24 hours to help you avoid an overdraft fee. Because we believe how you handle overdrafts should be in your control, not just your bank's. Low cash mode on virtual wallet from PNC Bank. One way we're making a difference.
Every Sunday night, give us the star power and the sounds of the game.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Give us the unforgettable moments.
These guys are phenomenal. Let's celebrate it. Let's enjoy it.
Cardinals, Cubs on Sunday Night Baseball. Tomorrow at 7 on ESPN. Telecast presented by Taco Bell.
The Euro, where feuds are recorded in sweat and turf. How will they clash this summer? Can the underdog be greater than the superpower? Is speed greater than strength? Will the old guard be greater than the new guard? Now we find out who's really greater. The Euro, from June 11th to July 11th on ESPN.
You think you know Black history, but then you blink. And just like that, there's more. more record-breaking,
for the most amount of wins,
more unprecedented firsts.
First black woman to coach full-time in the NFL.
And you know there's more magic. Black history is always being written. All you have to do is blink.
The Edge from Pizza Hut. Every bite is a masterpiece. It comes loaded with toppings all the way to the edge. For the crust, let's keep it real, thin, and crispy. They might not be able to see it, but we'll know it's there. It'll be our little secret. And to finish it off, a delightful sprinkling of garlic and herb seasoning.
I really gotta get going, man.
Tell your manager you took it to the edge.
I don't know that he'll accept that.
The Edge is back with 4 new recipes. Get it before it's gone. No one outbeats the Hut.
Let's go.
Black Widow, rated PG-13. Tickets and pre-orders available now. Experience it. July 9th.
Welcome back to our coverage of the 2020 European Championship alongside Craig Burley, Christian Fuchs. I'm Sebastian Salazar. Denmark, Finland suspended due to medical emergency after Christian Eriksen collapsed on the pitch in the 43rd minute. We were just hearing from some of the guys on the side set. Steve McManaman brought up an interesting point. You know, the first thing that gave us the idea that this was so serious was the reaction of the players. Christian, it was really overwhelming to see.
And it's still, I think, we're all still in the shock of what we have seen, what we have witnessed today. Tough pictures that you don't want to see, especially there's going around the globe. It's an international event, and but it was good to see how the Danish team came together, be united to support Christian Eriksen right away, even in a tough situation like that. Yeah, this shock will stay with us for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Craig, the players always seem to know when it's serious.
Yeah, and that reaction was unbelievable. But we believe that is Christian Eriksen leaving, and he looks responsive.
This image from Getty Images, taken as he was transported from the field back to the hospital. This from the official UEFA Twitter account. Following the medical emergency involving Denmark's player Christian Eriksen, a crisis meeting has taken place with both teams. The player has been transferred to the hospital and has been stabilized.
Well, that is, in the circumstances, that is absolutely the best news everyone could have got. The important thing is that they seemingly were able to get to him and get him responsive and get him to the hospital. That is huge. Because when they were working on him relentlessly on the side of the pitch,
worst case scenario flashes through your mind.
I was really, really concerned because they were. It was frantic, and how frantic they were working on him told you just how serious it was. So that statement from UEFA is at the moment fantastic news.
Yeah, we've been looking for some good news, hoping for some good news. It's not final good news there, but it's at least a ray of light.
Some kind of a relief.
Yeah,
it definitely is. Like Craig said, those minutes on the sideline felt like forever. That's nothing you can look at, but having this news feels at least a little bit better.
All right, let's get a little more perspective. We'll send it back over to the side set. Kelly Cates. Kelly?
Sebastian, thank you. Tim Howard has joined us. And as the guys were saying, in the circumstances, this is cautiously encouraging that we see Christian Eriksen appear to be conscious as he's led from the field. We know through UEFA that he's been taken to hospital and stabilised.
Well, to Craig's point, this is the best possible news at this time. The fact that he's responsive, that he has been given the proper medical treatment. Hopefully, as the hours and days go on, we'll get even better news. But this, seeing him lying there unconscious to this picture here that we're seeing now, massive relief. I've been in football a long time, as we all have. Can't remember that feeling that we've had watching these scenes.
It was just the most extraordinary occurrence, and this news via the UEFA Twitter account that the player has been stabilised in hospital is encouraging, as you say, but at the time, it was hugely concerning.
Well, it was, the way, the frantic nature that they were working on him, the reaction of the players, the tears, seeing whether it was his wife or partner there. These are just life circumstances that go beyond the game, and frightening is probably the biggest understatement of the day.
Without knowing what lies ahead,
yes,
it underlines how the immediate medical procedures at the grounds, how much access there is for players and the level of medical attention
I think
that they're able to draw on.
I think Craig said it early on, didn't it? The level of medical attention is extremely high, if not the best, at a tournament like this. Everybody's aware of the situation. I think Taylor said before, it was just over 90 seconds before they got on. When they knew the severity on it, they were on straight away. They had all the instruments needed. And to see a picture like that, albeit it's early and we're still a little bit unsure about information, but to see a picture like that, after witnessing the scenes, 45 an hour ago, to see a picture like that, it's just incredible. It makes you happy because we want him to be better and we want him to recover quickly. It's such a relief to see it like that, and we just hope that he continues to improve and we continue to receive good news, and UEFA are very fluid with the news, telling us what it is, because he's got family and friends and teammates who are really thinking about him at this really hard moment. And going back to your point before, we've been speaking just off air. Then Lukaku, who plays for Belgium, is a very close teammate of his. He's supposed to take the field in an hour in an important game. So there needs to be a little bit more clarity of what the situation is from UEFA, and we need to know as soon as possible, just so we can move on with things.
You make the point about Lukaku. He's preparing for a game. There's not an ounce of his thought right now that is on Russia. Yeah. Not an ounce. No. He's been phoning his friends and family and making sure, trying to get information. Absolutely.
Do you think it's impossible to play that game?
I think it's next to impossible, and it should be. Whether it goes on or not, I don't know, but yes.
Yes.
The picture that we saw of Christian Eriksen under ordinary circumstances would be a worrying picture. In the circumstances after having seen what happened on the pitch, it can be at least a positive step.
It's incredible to see the images that we all saw minutes after he collapsed. To see in this picture now is it gives us some happiness, because we all dreaded, we all had the bad moments, we all sad. And to see this picture, it's given us some hope, and that hope.
It was incredibly emotional watching it there, wasn't it? Watching his partner, his girlfriend, whoever that person was, the distress she must have been going through, knowing that he's there but can't go over to him and help him. I was emotional watching it, and as I said, I don't know the boy. You're speaking to family, friends, and saying, "Oh, this has just happened on the telly," and they're emotional, and they didn't even witness what we were witnessing. It's just one of those moments which makes you stop and think. And as I said, you just hope that the response is an improvement all the time, and he gets back and fit and well.
I refereed him many times for Tottenham, and he was always a perfect gentleman, always very, very good with the referees.
Yeah.
Have you had dealings with him? You were agreeing with Mark?
Yeah. I mean, and everything you hear about him is that he's a lovely man, he's a gentleman, he's quiet, he just gets on with his football. We know how good a football player he was. He gets his dream move to Inter Milan. He's a successful boy. He's on the back of real success and into the history books of Inter Milan because of what they've achieved this year. And then you roll on confidence high, representing your country, in a big stage at your home ground. After everything's happened, as I said, the furore that we had yesterday about the excitement watching this game, and isn't it amazing? Italy are at home and Denmark are at home, England are at home, the fans are back in. Euphoria, then this happens. Just pulls you back down again, and you just have to, sit and reflect on this poor lad.
Yeah, after collapsing in the 43rd minute, Christian Eriksen has now been taken to hospital, has been stabilised, and we have seen a photograph that suggests that he was conscious as he left the field. Sebastian.
Thank you very much, Kelly. We do have some more information. This coming in from the Danish FA. Christian Eriksen is at the hospital. He is awake, and he is awaiting further examination. So more little by little, we continue to get better news on Christian Eriksen. Again, Denmark and Finland suspended due to a medical emergency. We will be back with more as soon as we have an update on the health of Christian Eriksen.
That's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, you're shot down in May. I know I'm gonna...
This is the sound of change. The sound of 1,000 sighs of relief, and the sound of a company watching out for you. This is the sound of low cash mode from PNC Bank, giving you multiple options and at least 24 hours to help you avoid an overdraft.
we can't speculate and shouldn't never speculate. However, internally, I have to tell you, I was extremely worried watching the scenes that we weren't going to get to this stage.
Yeah.
That's how serious it was.
I've never seen you like that.
Yeah, I couldn't watch. I was on the edge because I just can't watch somebody going through that pain and the family and everything that goes around it. I mean, it is hard to watch. So to see that picture now and to know that he's at least responsive and he's now absolutely in the right place with the right people and getting the right medical help. I mean, I wouldn't have said it because we're not supposed to, but I was worried we're not going to get to that stage because those medics were working so frantically in this young man that I've never seen that before in a field, not to that extent, ever.
Christian, as a footballer, you try to prepare for everything. Can't prepare for anything like this.
You definitely cannot, as you can see, as you can tell. I think Steve said it right before. It will affect all of his teammates, but I would go even further. It will affect everybody who's playing the sports. Everybody is watching those games. Everybody is at the tournament or in their respective leagues. I mean, you have Christian Eriksen, who's on top of his game. Good footballer's age, 29 years old, just won the Italian league. And now you see those scenes. So it's affecting me. I'm still an active player. So you put out a lot of question marks, but the main thing is you see those pictures, you see the statements, which gives you hope.
Yeah. Well, as we mentioned, everybody involved with this tournament will be following along. Of course, later this afternoon, still on for schedule as of right now, Belgium and Russia. Just a few moments ago, Roberto Martinez, the manager of Belgium, was asked about the incident we all just witnessed.
Yes, of course. We all are aware, and it was a real shock. And straight away, you know that we got teammates in that dressing room and players that they shared a lot of times with Eriksen. So straight away, there is a real sense of wanting to send our energy and our praise so he can get a real, full, speedy recovery.
Can the game go on?
Well, obviously, what's important is that Eriksen is reacting well, and that's more a medical decision than anything else.
I mean, the game Belgium-Russia.
Well, obviously, we're here to do a job, but it wasn't the ideal preparation, that's for sure.
I think it's difficult because it's a difficult scenario around here because, you know, human beings are involved here. Players are not robots. You know, and everybody's different. Some people can absorb situations like this and go on and play, possibly if the game goes ahead, and at the moment the Belgium-Russian game goes ahead, and others may not. I mean, if one of his teammates, and Romelu Lukaku is a teammate, and the guys mentioned that, he's the talisman for Belgium at the moment. The guy's just won the league at Inter Milan, he's scoring goals for fun. But how is that affecting him? I mean, does he turn around to Roberto Martinez and say, I don't want to play. The game's going ahead, but I don't want to play. We just don't know that. And as a manager, if he says that to you, that's the decision made.
Yeah.
And so these are the things that have to be taken into account. And it's difficult for UEFA, for everybody, for the players. It's not easy, but if the game does go ahead,
I don't think you can make a right or wrong decision in that case. You don't know how to deal with it.
No.
It's very tough.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine being a teammate of his with an hour to play?
I think if it was one of my teammates, I don't think I could play the game.
Really?
If that was one of my teammates, I don't think I could take the field that day until I had full clarity that everything was going to be fine. I just...
You will always think about it throughout the 90 minutes, however long it takes.
Do you think they should cancel the Belgium-Russia match?
I mean, the logistics are not the most important thing at this moment in time, but UEFA have to take those into consideration. I'm kind of thinking now that they've got the news out that he's responsive, that it's probably going to go ahead. I can't say to you if that's the right thing or not. I don't know. I don't care. The only thing I care about is the guy is responsive at this moment in time. And quite frankly, that makes us all happy.
All right, well, let's open it up to some more perspective. We continue to hope for good news. We've received it little by little so far on Christian Eriksen, but we'll send it back over to the side set. Kelly Cates.
Sebastian, thank you. As you said, the pictures emerging of Christian Eriksen that show him responsive as he left the field, the statement saying that he's in hospital and is in a stable condition. We will get further information and we'll update you as soon as we have that. The swift actions of the medical professionals within the stadium. We've had so much cause this year, Tim, to be grateful to those in the medical professions, and this has just further underlined.
This is another sign of that. We saw how frantically they were working. Obviously, there was a real problem, and again, lucky that they were on top of it. You know, it's a massive concern because there are so many medical tests that have to be done prior to these tournaments. These players play at the top club with the best medical staffs, and they get screened, and all the checks have happened. And so, obviously, it was a real worry when he goes down. But yes, credit to the Danish medical staff, the UEFA staff on hand, and then clearly in the hospital now.
Obviously, we don't know the outcome of this, but we do know where Christian Eriksen is at the moment. But the swift action of the medical professionals, it has to be commended.
Yeah, they've done an incredible job in a lot of uncertainty. You know, we knew what type of match it was. People had been on and off the field a couple of times because of head injuries, not necessarily the medical staff, but certainly the medical departments of the respective teams that were playing. So for them to get on and administer the work that they did in such a short space of time, in that surroundings as well. You know, you have to be cold, you have to be calculated, you have to go on and do your job when called for. And the severity of it when they arrived, which we could all see, you know, unfold in front of our eyes. To see those pictures and to hear these little snippets of information off the Danish FA, off UEFA, saying he's awake in hospital, you know, it's just we don't know these people who have gone on and given them that help, but it'll come to light who they are. But they've done an incredible job, haven't they? Absolutely incredible under real difficult circumstances again.
The other thing we can't know is how teammates, players preparing for the Belgium-Russia match will be reacting to this.
Oh yeah.
But as Craig said, would you personally be in a condition?
I just cancel the game. I just cancel the game. I've got no qualms about it at all. Whether we need to fit it in tomorrow or the next day, it doesn't matter. You can't play with so much uncertainty when you're close. I mean, if you go, I'm only thinking about the Belgian team. You've got people like Vertonghen and Chadli, who've all played with him in a Tottenham shirt. You've got Lukaku, who's his real close teammate. You can't prepare for a game like this. We've already hyped this game up, the golden generation. It could be their last time. You can't go into a game of this magnitude with thoughts about, you know, a teammate who you know, who's a close friend, who you love dearly. Just goes beyond that for me. I'm a bit more easy to say. I wouldn't be happy playing with it at all. I would not be happy playing with this at all. And if Belgium don't get the right result, there'll be a multitude of questions asked whether the game should be played. UEFA should just come out, make a decision, and that's the end of it. We want Christian to be fit and well and on the road to recovery. Of course we do. But until you get more clarity, until you get more information, until you get more determined information, you cannot go. Well, I wouldn't be happy if he was my teammate to play a game like this. Not at all.
Tim, you know how you reacted watching it on the television. Can you imagine that you would be able to go out and play after hearing that news? No, what Mac is saying is right. Obviously, we heard Roberto Martinez there say all the right things, that there is a job to do. But if the game goes on, which I'm in agreement, it shouldn't. If it does, yeah, I think those players will take the field. Will they take the field with 100% concentration on trying to get a result? No, of course not. I mean, their heart and their mind is with their brother and their teammate, you know, whether it be an ex-Tottenham teammate or a current Inter Milan teammate. So these are incredibly difficult circumstances for these players. And while, of course, we're aware of the sporting significance of that game, we have been reminded today, Sebastian, that there are much more important things than football.
Absolutely. Well said, Kelly. Of course, the Belgium-Russia match at the moment still on. Coverage there will start 2 p.m. Eastern Time over on ABC. We've used the word unprecedented a lot today, maybe a positive unprecedented coming out of the stadium. Just recently, we're getting reports that the Finnish and Danish fans are going back and forth. Finland fans chanting Christian, the Danish fans chanting Eriksen. And you could see immediately whether it was a reaction of players, but really we saw it in a lot of the reaction from the fans, Christian. Tears in the eyes of both Danish and Finnish fans.
Yeah, it's impressive and good to see how the sport, or that situation, that case, unites everybody. How everybody knows there's a bigger thing to everything other than competing against each other. It's about the well-being of the player. It's about everybody that's on the pitch is healthy, and you see them applauding, which is nice. I guess that's when they received the news of Christian Eriksen being stabilized. It's great to see how Danish and Finnish fans are celebrating this together.
And they're still there in Parken Stadium in Copenhagen, Denmark. The match suspended by UEFA due to medical emergency after Christian Eriksen collapsed in the 43rd minute with the match tied at 0. There you can see the announcement on the big board at Parken Stadium. Christian Eriksen is stable and awake. Further information about the match will follow. Thank you for your understanding. That on the big board at the stadium. UEFA also releasing a statement in which they said he is now at the hospital and stabilized. The Danish FA confirming that, saying that Eriksen is awake and will be receiving further examination. Perhaps the best image that we've seen so far was the picture itself of Eriksen responsive with an oxygen mask on.
Yeah, that picture was the one. This is when the better news so far started to filter through, and this picture was one of the first. You can see him with his left arm over his forehead, and his eyes are open, and he has the oxygen mask on. And it took a long time for the medics to get him to that stage. A long time, a lot of work, and it was harrowing to watch. But yeah, that's the best outcome today we could have had so far, and that's amazing to say that, really, because it was one of the most traumatic things I think I've ever witnessed from afar, albeit God only knows what it was like for those at the game and his teammates and everybody surrounding him. So really happy that at the moment we have some good news.
Denmark and Finland, what was supposed to be the Group B opener in Copenhagen, suspended due to medical emergency. We continue to wait further updates on Christian Eriksen. Again, another reminder, second match in Group B to take place in St. Petersburg between Belgium and Russia. Coverage starts at 2 p.m. over on ABC. That's it for us here in the studio. Coming up next, Squeeze Play with Shea Cornett and Adam Greenberg.
Switch to Farmers and you can save an average of $467 on your auto insurance just by phoning it into